What's up, guys? Your boy, 20K13. Gonna give you guys your wrestling news wrap up for July 16, 2015. WWE employee feud with Matt Hardy's wife, Ruby Sky. There has been a lot of arguing on social media of late between WWE seamstress Julie Youngberg, who is the wife of former WWE WCW star Shannon Moore, and Ruby Hardy, who is the wife of former WWE and current TNA star Matt Hardy. According to Youngberg, Matt and Ruby have been hacking and stalking her. Here's what Youngberg wrote on Facebook recently, and I quote, "So great news. The police came over the other day who are working on my case of the people who are hacking me, stalking me, making up horrible lies, slander, etc., and are trying to break up the beautiful marriage Shannon and I have." Funny enough, the cop traced the email back to a town none other than Cameron, North Carolina. LOL. Just a little more time before they cracked the false name the act was open under, but they are working on it. Let's just say what comes around goes around, and sorry assholes, Shannon and I love each other way too much to let psychopaths like you with nothing better to do with your life or time than to try and ruin ours. Your pathetic and sad excuses for human beings. If I were you right now, I'd be extremely nervous for the outcome. Ruby lived in Cameron, North Carolina, so even though Youngberg didn't mention her by name, that who she referring to, it gets better or worse depending on your viewpoint. When Ruby addressed it on Twitter, Ruby recently gave birth to a son with Matt, who they named Massive in July, mentioned that on her Facebook, which Ruby posted for the world to see. That wasn't all because Ruby filed off another tweet claiming that Youngberg had a relationship with former WWE star Justin Gabriel. Youngberg replied to say that the cops are involved and mentioned the hacker's wife, and that the hacker is from Cameron, North Carolina, so it appears as though she is claiming Matt is a hacker. The days of Matt Hardy and Shannon Moore being close friends will appear to be a thing of the past if their wives comment or any indication. Hardy had something great going with Moore over a decade ago when Moore was his Mattitude follower. Now it appears as though Matt and Ruby are stalking Shannon and Julie, or at least that's what Julie wants people to believe. The Undertaker returned at WWE Battleground. Rumor. There's a huge rumor floating around that Sunday WWE Battleground event will see The Undertaker make a surprise return, which will then lead to a match at SummerSlam. The rumor comes from a user named Falcon Elva on Reddit who mentioned a major spoiler regarding Battleground. While he didn't specifically say The Undertaker, he said that he's back, and when another user suggested Steve Austin, he said, "No, not him. The guy with the coffin." While there are always going to be credibility questions that arise when somebody on Reddit posts something, Falcon Arrow has actually got a good track record for spoilers in the recent past, correcting predictions Samoa Joe WWE debut, Mark Henry replacing Rusev in the Elimination Chamber match for the IC title, Ryback winning the IC title, the NXT Diva invasion, and a few other things. His name isn't known and neither is his source, but based on his history, he could definitely be on to something. What noteworthy is that the Undertaker's name has been mentioned a few times on WWE TV in recent weeks. Paul Heyman mocked Kane on Raw, calling him Undertaker's baby brother, and that led to the crowd chanting baby brother at Kane. Dean Ambrose also mentioned him to Kane when they were having issues a few months ago, which led to Kane getting angry that Ambrose mentioned his family. Regarding a potential SummerSlam match, it's possible WWE could go with Undertaker vs. Brock Lesnar just based on their history, with Lesnar beating him at WrestleMania 30 to end the streak. However, with Lesnar as a face, it seems unlikely and it doesn't feel like the right time for Brock to lose a big match, which he would if he were facing Taker. They could also do Undertaker vs. Seth Rollins, who may drop the WWE title because it makes sense with Rollins disrespecting Kane. Plus, Rollins is probably the guy that could give Undertaker the best match. From WWE perspective, putting Undertaker in a huge match at SummerSlam makes sense, since it's one of their biggest shows of the year. With TV rating down, they could definitely use the boost that its president could provide. In addition to all of that, there was this photo tweeted by Joe DeFranco a few days ago, who is Triple H trainer, that has been working with Undertaker too. He looks to be in good shape, doesn't he? But now take it with a grain of salt as a rumor. But it's possible that The Undertaker will make his return to WTV this Sunday at Battleground. Cody Rhodes and his wife respond to critics of his WWE return. Cody Rhodes returned to WWE programming on Monday Night Raw for the first time since his father, Dusty Rhodes, passed away on June 1st. There were mixed reactions to his return as the Stardust character, with some fans being very vocal about wanting him to return with the Rhodes name instead in honor of his dad. Cody's wife, Brandy, who performed for WWE as a ring announcer and backstage interviewer named Eden, wrote a blog responding to the critics. Here's part of what she had to say, and I quote, "Last night my husband returned to Raw to finish what he started, and some fans peeved with him angry because they wanted something else. They wanted him to use what happened to his father as a stepping stone, not for Cody, but for themselves. Maybe that to feel better about everything, or maybe they are just that selfish. But to publicly crap on the most courageous thing someone in this position could do, which will pick up and carry on and do it brilliantly. Shame on you. For people who say he needed to do that for Dusty, hold on there, Happy Pan. You never knew Dusty. You never sat in his living room or the PC and heard him praise his work. All of it. And appreciate the way Cody took everything and anything and turned it into brilliant. Summer plans that he came up with himself. How he never quit at anything, and I bet you never saw the screensaver on his phone that I won't share with you. He admired these things about Cody, how all of his fans should. Instead, some complain and moan and complain and tweet and say, "I'm just so upset because I am his #1 fan." Newsflash: putting Rhodes somewhere in your Twitter handle does not a fan make. Being there, especially in a time like this, without ulterior motive, is what makes the best fan. And we have plenty, and their voices are heard, and we appreciate you. As for Cody, he has a protected Twitter account where he wrote the following, and I quote, "Trouble in seeing some people think I allow or be comfortable with the worst thing that ever happened to me be exploited on TV for a return." He also mentioned that when he refereed his first match for Turnbuckle Championship Wrestling that Dusty ran, his father gave him a referee shirt with Stardust written on it. It's easy to understand why Cody and Brandy would feel this way because they're so passionate about the wrestling business. But there doesn't need to be anger about it. Fans want him to go back to the Cody Rhodes name because the Stardust gimmick isn't working that well. Since Brandy hinted at some sort of summer feud for Stardust that appears to still be taking place, possibly with actor Stephen Amell, so it's easy to understand that they want to see it through. There was barely a reaction to Stardust when the match which never took place on Raw, because people don't want to boo the guy that just lost his beloved father. It's not exploding death by going back to the Cody Rhodes. It's a way to honor Dusty. True fans just want what's best for Cody in his career. So whether that's as Stardust or if he goes back to the Rhodes name, hopefully he can reach his full potential. Leonard Lewis considered WWE offer to fight Brock Lesnar. Leonard Lewis has said that Vince McMahon offered him £5 million to fight Brock Lesnar in WWE during 2002. This would have been a boxer versus wrestler bout, and he gave it some serious consideration. The legendary British boxer was talking to Michael Landsberg, TSN Off the Record show. He said that his main reason for not doing the match was because he'd be wearing gloves and Lesnar wouldn't. That seemed to suggest that it was going to be a shoot, but that in reality very unlikely. Maybe Lewis was just using kayfabe, and there was another reason he dropped out, probably because Lesnar would have been booked to go over. The timing is also a little weird, as Lesnar wasn't really that much of a massive star at that point. He was having a hell of a debut year in 2002, but he was hardly at the level of doing a pay-per-view with Lewis. If it had been 2012, it would have been a much bigger deal, although Lewis had been retired for some time now. Although he didn't end up working with the WWE on that occasion, Lewis did work for McMahon at SummerSlam 1992. He accompanied the British Bulldog Davey Boy Smith to the ring at Wembley, which in turn created a big mainstream buzz in the British tabloid. Eric Bischoff on WWE DVD. WrestlingDVDNetwork.com, formerly Wrestling DVD News, is reporting Eric Bischoff is a special guest interviewee for the upcoming WWE The Monday Night War Volume 2 Know Your Role DVD and Blu-ray. Bischoff will be featured in a segment after each episode on the consultation set for release in September. Know Your Role will feature the remaining 10 episodes from the WWE Network series The Monday Night War. Total Diva beat Tough Enough. This week's edition of Total Diva topped Tough Enough by taking in 1.31 million viewers. This week's number is up 6% from the 975,000 viewers who tuned into the season premiere last week. As noted, this week's edition of Tough Enough did the lowest viewership average in show history. Kurt Angle in emergency surgery due to pressure on spine. Kurt Angle has been rushed to hospital and given emergency surgery to relieve pressure on his spine. The news was provided by Angle's management company, tweeting from his Twitter account. And I quote, "Friends and fans, this is a message from Mr. Angle's management. Yesterday, while Mr. Angle was preparing for his travel to the UK for Comic-Con, he was experiencing severe pain. He lost feeling in his extremity and started to have some difficulty breathing. His wife, Giovanni, very concerned, rushed him to the hospital where doctor informed Kurt that his symptom was the result of his recent surgery that left a large buildup of fluid on his spinal cord. Since the condition could be fatal, they immediately underwent emergency surgery to relieve the pressure on his spine. The surgery went well and doctors believe he will have a full recovery. Kurt apologized to his friends and fans that he will not be appearing at Comic-Con in London this weekend as hoped. Kurt is doing well and we will keep you posted on his progress." Although the message pressed the idea that Kurt was doing fine, this update will inevitably lead to questions over his continued involvement in pro wrestling. It has been over 12 years since doctors first advised him to retire from physically wrestling, and it has been almost 20 years since he first broke his neck. The man is a physical machine and has demonstrated an iron determination over the years, but at what point does the risk become too much? Losing feeling in his body and having difficulty breathing is a scary stuff. This isn't the normal kind of thing that pro wrestlers deal with. The fact he needed emergency surgery to deal with what was described as a potentially fatal buildup of pressure on his spine is a warning sign that the 46-year-old should take. His legacy is already intact as one of the best workers ever, and he's doing little to enhance it in the barely walked TNA Impact Wrestling. It would be a wise decision to retire and accept that he had a marvelous career. A spot in the WWE Hall of Fame will almost certainly be forthcoming once he retires and gone from TNA. The Undertaker and Sting at WWE SummerSlam. The Undertaker and Sting are booked at SummerSlam, report Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio. There is no indication what matches they'll be in, but WWE will be building the hype up in the week before August 23rd. That means there is indeed a chance of The Undertaker returning this Sunday at Battleground, although Meltzer doesn't know if that is or isn't the case. And I quote, "Things happen when ratings go down, although the thing was happening anyway," Meltzer stated. Certainly bringing The Undertaker back is a sign of desperation linked to low television ratings and probable low WWE Network subscribers number. He's a massive star, so his presence over the summer should give both of those areas a lift. He also scheduled for the Steve Austin WWE Network podcast show. As for who The Undertaker could be wrestling, Meltzer states, "I presume because Heyman keeps mentioning him that it has something to do with Lesnar. I don't know that for sure though. It could be an awkward one for WWE to book, as Lesnar and The Undertaker are both over as faces. What would make more sense is if WWE did The Undertaker vs. Sting, which is a dream match for many fans. However, there is no indication that's the case. Sting had an opponent booked, but that has changed due to injury the opponent suffered. Sting would now face somebody else. There's no word on who the original opponent was, but Meltzer clarified that it wasn't Ryback. WWE and UFC not trading Brock Lesnar for Ronda Rousey. The rumored WWE and UFC talent trade for Ronda Rousey working WrestleMania and Brock Lesnar working UFC 200 isn't happening. The Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that people close to the situation have said that a trade deal wouldn't be done. The problem with that deal would be Lesnar. He publicly and privately said that he doesn't want to fight again. UFC President Dana White knows that there is no chance of him returning. It will also be an issue of Vince McMahon not wanting to allow his top star to go to UFC and get destroyed. Lesnar was never that rounded as a fighter, and chances are he'd be defeated. Although UFC are resigned to not having Lesnar for UFC 200, WWE still remains optimistic for having Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania. Presumably she will be available, as she'll probably be fighting on the UFC 200 card on July 2nd, 2016. In theory, she wouldn't be training for a fight at the time of WrestleMania 32 on April 3rd, 2016. The problem is that Dana White has no good reason to let Ronda work WrestleMania. She's under contract to UFC, and it could look bad if she perceived as doing fake fights. From a credibility standpoint, it doesn't work for UFC, even though it could lead to mainstream press and generate interest in UFC for WWE fans. Ryback will miss WWE Battleground due to injury. WWE Intercontinental Champion Ryback will miss Sunday Battleground pay-per-view event due to a staph infection in his right knee that was discovered on Tuesday morning. As a result of his injury, his Super Threat match for the IC title against Big Show and The Miz has been removed from the card, according to WWE.com. Ryback sent out several tweets to explain what happened, and I quote, "After Raw Monday, I woke up Tuesday morning before some media appearances with a severe staph infection in my right knee. I was brought to a hospital and put on strong antibiotics and had 90 cc of fluid drain out of the knee in a 24-hour period. We caught it in time thanks to the great WWE medical team, and I will make a full recovery. Will be kept in the hospital for several days, and I will not be able to defend my Intercontinental Championship this Sunday. I am sorry to all my fans and the WWE. I will be back shortly, but I have to get this correct. The good news is the staph infection was detected early, because if not, they can be very dangerous. As he mentioned, he has to get it corrected, and it's going to take some time for him to return to the ring. There is no specific timeline on when he can wrestle again, and WWE hasn't made an announcement about the future of the IC title. If he's out for a month or two, then he'll probably keep the title. But if it's more than that, then the curse of the IC title strikes again. Since the IC title match is off, WWE will likely put on a replacement bout at Battleground. A singles match with Big Show and Miz is possible, although both guys as heels it may not be a great idea. There are also talented performers like Cesaro, Rusev, Dean Ambrose, Stardust, and Neville that don't have a match on Sunday, so perhaps WWE can do something with them. The Undertaker vs. Kevin Owens WWE rumor is denied. The rumored Kevin Owens vs. The Undertaker match has been shot down. Report the Wrestling Observer newsletter. Dave Meltzer states that Vince McMahon already had a match in mind for Taker at WrestleMania. The report can confirm that the match will be with Brock Lesnar, but the fact that Paul Heyman keeps bringing The Undertaker up may not be coincidence. Lesnar is regarded as one of the few available possibilities, and he's the only one with a capable backstory that can be linked to a narrative with The Undertaker. It will be booked as a dead man's chance of revenge. The problem is that Brock is a successful babyface right now. He'd be shielded against anyone but not against The Undertaker. Meltzer doesn't make mention of The Undertaker Battleground rumor, but the absence of it in his report would suggest that there's no credibility to it. Speculation had been whipped up after Joe DeFranco posted a photo of The Undertaker working out. The usual theory immediately started popping up in form, with some fans claiming to have inside information that he was coming back. The only way to know for sure will be to watch Battleground, but don't bet your life saving on it. Taker is one of the most private guys in the business, as is Vince McMahon. If a comeback was happening, you expect it to remain a secret and not be leaking out to wrestling fans. News on TNA legal issue with Hernandez and Lucha Underground. TNA Wrestling had dealt with all sorts of problems this year, and now they have more to deal with because Lucha Underground has forced them to remove Hernandez from their roster, effective immediately. As a result, TNA had to heavily edit several weeks of shows that Hernandez appeared on because if they don't, Lucha Underground would take legal action against them. According to a report from PW Insider, Hernandez was not legally able to appear at TNA last taping in June, even though he told them that he was free. He recently returned to TNA programming as part of the Beatdown Clan stable with MVP and Kenny King, but not all of those segments have to be removed from the show. Since TNA could have been sued, they tried to work out an agreement with Lucha Underground to air the scene that he was in and even offered to pay payload. And Lucha Underground refused that deal, likely because that would be helping TNA in a situation where Lucha Underground doesn't have to. So now TNA has to re-edit their show to take Hernandez off their show. What TNA plans to do, since they can't air anything with Hernandez, is to completely remove all the appearances of the Beatdown Clan in the next few episodes of Impact. In its place, they might air matches from the recent Slammiversary pay-per-view or other things that have taped that would be relevant. TNA next taping starts on July 22nd, so until then they are unable to insert new material. As for Sean Hernandez, he's gone from TNA Wrestling and probably won't be welcome back to Lucha Underground if they do film a second season. The Undertaker will be on WWE Raw this Monday. The Undertaker will be on WWE Raw this Monday, reports PW Insider. The show will be airing live from Kansas City and take place the day after Battleground. There would seem to indicate that the rumor of Taker returning at Battleground are true. His comeback at Sunday event looks almost certain now. The reason for his return is to build a major match at SummerSlam. Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio said that Taker will be appearing on the August 23rd show, with his comeback being built in the weeks beforehand. There is no word on his opponent yet, although Meltzer indicated that a reasonable guess might be Brock Lesnar. The thinking behind that guess is Paul Heyman, missing The Undertaker in recent Raw episodes. Sting is also booked for the SummerSlam show. There is no word on who his opponent is either, so it's always possible that WWE could be thinking of the Sting vs. The Undertaker dream match. Whatever WWE do with The Undertaker, it is sure to lead to increased interest in the next month or so. Raw ratings should go up, as should network subscription. That's why WWE are making this move, as Raw viewership in recent weeks hasn't been too healthy. Austin Piper update. With regard to the drama between Steve Austin and Roddy Piper, we have previously reported on the unconfirmed rumors that WWE had released Piper from his Legend deal. According to Dave Meltzer of F4WOnline.com, the rumors were totally false, and as of now, he is still under contract with the company. Update on Uhaa Nation and NXT, which star will get the spotlight in Q4 2015 and the future of NXT Women's Division. Uhaa Nation is set to start more regularly on NXT television, following the NXT TakeOver Brooklyn Live special in August. He was originally advertised as a part of the latest class of recruit back in April, following WrestleMania, and was brought in for television to sign a contract and story with William Regal in May. But nothing has since happened with the former Dragon Gate star. The company taped a month worth of television this week, so it's also possible they could bring him in a bit earlier and build toward his first big match at TakeOver itself. According to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Yuha is one of the many stars set to be focused on in Q4 of 2015, along with NXT champion Finn Balor, NXT Tag Team champion Wesley Blake and Buddy Murphy, Enzo Amore, and Big Cass, Bayley, Hideo Itami upon his return, Alexa Bliss, and Mojo Rawley. While the transition won't be immediate, this seems to indicate that Sasha Banks, Charlotte, and Becky Lynch will be winding down their time on Wednesday night and being featured more on the WWE main roster. Obviously, losing all three of them at once would be a huge blow to the division. And Kevin Owens has proven you can do both at the same time, for a while at least, but there is a notable push to better feature Alexa Bliss, Dana Brooke, and Bayley, the focal point of the women's division, and even Carmella has been getting a bit more screen time. Detailed on NXT TakeOver Brooklyn ticket sales, reason for Owens-Baylor main event, possible matches, competition, and more. According to the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, ticket sales are moving well for the upcoming NXT TakeOver Live special at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. The show runs the night before WWE SummerSlam and 2 nights before WWE Raw, both being held in the same building, and is at this point guaranteed to draw the biggest crowd in the relatively short history of the NXT brand. The original plan, which could still be the case, was to set up the arena for 5,000 people on Saturday night and expand seating if necessary. TakeOver faced competition the same night from Ring of Honor, Pro Wrestling Syndicate, and a Jim Ross live show, all within the same general area in New York, New Jersey. As reported, Kevin Owens will challenge Finn Balor for the NXT Championship in the main event. Owens will face off against John Cena for the U.S. title at SummerSlam the next night, and that match he is expected to win. Traditionally, it doesn't make a lot of sense to book Owens in the main event of an NXT special, especially a high-profile show where he is almost certain to lose, right before the biggest match of his career. But they needed the biggest main event they could find to share the Barclays Center. Current Baylor Owens is the only official announced match on the show, but they will be taping the next month's worth of television shortly. So we should have a better look at the card by the end of the week. The Von Villains defeated Enzo Amore and Big Cass to be the #1 contender to the tag title last week on NXT, but it's likely that match will happen far in advance of TakeOver. And a triple threat or even a four-way with the new team of Jason Jordan and Chad Gable will be booked for the live special in August. Sasha Banks vs. Dana Brooke is the expected NXT Women's Championship match being set up right now. Although it's unclear if Banks' recent debut on WWE television alongside Becky Lynch and Charlotte will change that going forward, there will likely be a Samoa Joe match on the card as well, as they'll need all hands on deck to promote their biggest live event ever. But as of now, Joe is without a program or obvious direction. WWE star Edge is the Autumn Smasher in The Flash Season 2. WWE Hall of Famer Edge's real name Adam Copeland has landed a new role on the Flash TV show on the CW. He'll be playing Autumn Smasher in their second season according to comicbook.com. Here's how the character is described by the CW network. And I quote, "One of the most powerful enemies we encountered this season, Autumn Smasher, has come to Central City to kill the Flash. His incredible strength and ability to grow to enormous size make him more than a match for Flash, and the entire Star Lab team will have to come together to find a way to defeat him." The second season is currently filming with Copeland scheduled to appear in the season premiere. He's not on the good guy side, which is natural for him since he thrived as a heel in WWE. Following the end of his WWE career in 2011, Copeland landed a regular role on the sci-fi show Haven. He filmed 2 WWE movies, Bending the Rule in 2012 and Interrogation earlier this year with WWE diva Lana as his co-star. Copeland commented on Twitter saying it was something to scratch off the bucket list, which likely means that he was hoping to do something like this in his career. It's great news for the 41-year-old who had to stop wrestling, because if he took one more bad bump, he could have been paralyzed due to his neck injury. Some wrestlers have a tough time adapting after they leave the ring, but he is doing very well for himself. The Flash returned Tuesday night at 8 p.m. on the CW in October. Backstage news on how WWE views SmackDown. WWE current mentality with SmackDown Sci-Fi is that they aren't making it a priority since the show is leaving that network in January. That's when it will be moving to USA Network, which will apparently lead to a heavier emphasis on WWE show. According to the Wrestling Observer, when the move to USA Network happens, there will be more angle taking place on Raw that will lead into SmackDown. If you watch both shows currently, that is happening already. Although there is really anything major happening on SmackDown, that is worth going out of your way to see. While it's easy to see why WWE would think this way since USA Network is bigger and better than Sci-Fi, both networks are still under the NBC Universal umbrella that WWE signed a long-term TV deal with. The main reason WWE is saving the move for January is because there will be NFL games on Thursday, starting on September 10th through the end of December, so WWE knows they will have a tough time getting viewers against the most powerful sports league in America. By making SmackDown a less important show, they are hurting themselves by having less people watch the show. Who knows how many people will tune in once it's on USA Network in January. There's was a rumor started by Jerry Lawler months ago saying that SmackDown might be live on Friday, but that hasn't been confirmed at this point. Well, that's it, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. See you guys on the next one. Peace.